I make 6 figures every single month with OnlyFans management, and I have just gone ahead and explained everything from start to beginning, how we actually run our agency, how you can get started from absolutely no experience. And if you watch till the end of this video, I'll teach you exactly how to do that. I have my trusty iPad here. I'm recording my screen. I'm going to go through and add notes as we go and explain to you in real life from my own experience in the last 3 years, being able to start from absolutely zero to scaling to hundreds of thousands of dollars per month for my agency. Here's the proof. So this one business model alone has been able to help me live this crazy lifestyle, been able to help my friends and family do whatever I actually want, and if you want to call it, break out the matrix, right? So I want to share with you guys exactly what I've been able to do, how I've been able to do it, so pay attention to this entire video and let's just jump straight into it. So this is an entire timescale and I'm going to go through it in chronological order, starting from absolutely nothing. So let's just go. So first things first, where you're going to want to actually start, of course, is the branding and social media, right? So this, of course, entails the actual logo. What does your brand look like? What does it stand for, etc.? The biggest piece of advice I can give here is do not waste time. That's the biggest thing I can give you, right? So most people, what they do is they focus on the easy stuff, right? The easy stuff is thinking of a pretty logo, doing all the little colors, building a website and all this good stuff, right? In reality, you don't actually need to focus on it too much. At the end of the day, your clients, all they actually care about is what do you do and how can you help them, right? So yes, having a really great built out website and a social media, etc., is going to be a slight increase and a slight benefit, but it isn't a deal breaker, right? You don't necessarily have to have it. So my piece of advice, I would say spend at least, not at least, I say a maximum of 3 days on everything when it comes to getting set up. So this includes your website. In our coaching program, we actually give you guys a website template. So that saves you a bunch of time. You don't have to build an entire website from scratch. So that's something that we do for you. But if you're going to do it yourself, you can use things such as ClickFunnels. You can build a very simple landing page on there. Or if you want to go a little bit more professional, you can build one on, I think it's called Webflow. Yeah, I think something like that. Anyway, you can build your website on wherever you want. Again, don't take too much time to actually build the website itself, because if you're starting out, you don't really have any results, etc., to showcase on it, right? So what are they going to care about? Some pretty images, some text. So nobody cares, right? But the things that you probably should focus on and actually do have in place is, number one, your logo, because obviously that's what is going to be your branding for your entire journey of running your agency. Definitely a social media. Social media is key, right? Because at the end of the day, this whole entire business model is online. All of your models will have social media, right? That's the only way they're able to make a lot of money. So they will care a lot about your online presence. So with Instagram, if you wanted to start off, you can just use your personal account. Again, that just saves a bit of time. If you are going to use your personal social media, like your Instagram, for example, just make sure you clean it up a little bit and it looks at least a little bit professional, right? So there isn't loads of photos and videos of you getting drunk and doing dumb shit with your friends, right? Keep it at least a little bit professional. The next thing that you will need is softwares and tools. Now, later into this video, I'll actually give you guys a couple of softwares and tools that we use ourselves, and I'll explain to you guys in this video itself. So that's it. That's number one to start off with. The biggest key here is do not waste time. Spend a maximum of 3 days, ideally 1 day. Like, you should genuinely just spend 1 day on this. Little caveat, by the way, little side note, you're going to come back to this. Like, eventually, once you have money, once you have momentum, once you have results, once you have case studies and something to actually showcase to people, that's when you come back and you actually improve your website. You build a professional website, or you pay somebody who actually knows how to build a website. You then showcase your results, your testimonials, etc. on there. But for now, because you're starting out, you don't have any of that. Who fucking cares? Let's move on to the next part, right? So you built your actual website and your branding, you have your logo, etc., and your Instagram. The next part, moving on to the actual important stuff, which is outreach, right? So outreach. So yeah, mind my writing. I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible, and it's not the most neat and professional looking thing. But anyway, so outreach is obviously the most important part. Without outreach, you're not going to get any clients. With no clients, you're not making any money. Cool, pretty simple, right? So within outreach, there's a couple of things that I want you guys to note. So first of all, don't sound like too beggy, and don't be like everybody else who just DMs like a massive copy and paste script to every single model and spam them, right? Don't do that. That's what everybody does, and you want to stand out and you would be different. Again, in our coaching program, we actually tell you exactly what to say, how to say it, how to, first of all, get the model to see your message, how to get them to respond, how to get them on a Zoom call, etc., right? But in this short little video in YouTube, because I'm trying to explain to the masses, to people who might not know what even is OFM, the absolute basics and the fundamentals. So you can actually, if I go here, you can actually get your first client without technically doing outreach. So when I say outreach, this is like to cold leads, to people who don't know who you are, don't know what you do, etc. These are random models, maybe on the other side of the world, and you're trying to reach out to them to sign them up for your agency, help them scale their account, right? So the way you're able to do that is a couple of things. So first of all, you can actually reach out to people you already know. So somebody that you already know is going to be super simple to sign up to your agency, because maybe you went to university, maybe you went to college with them, etc., and you already have that connection. The biggest key in order to get somebody to actually jump on a call with you is 3 things, right? Number 1, they must know you. Number 2, they must trust you. And then number 3, they must like you. So if we're talking about somebody that you already know, for example, you went to university, you went to college with them, etc. Well, those 3 barriers are most likely already overcome. You already know each other because you went to university, for example. They most likely already trust you because you were in the same class, and I don't know, you gave her a fucking ruler or some shit at some point, right? And number 3, she most likely already at least likes you above like a random person. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So that's super important. So that's where I would recommend when you guys are starting out, reach out to somebody that you already know, and that's going to be the easiest way for you to get your first client. Now, if you don't already know somebody yourself personally who is on OnlyFans, maybe like I said, you went to university with them, etc., well, then reach out to somebody who knows them, right? So if you don't know somebody directly, reach out to somebody who already does know somebody. So does that make sense? So maybe a guy who you went to a club with one time or whatever, one of your boys, right? Somebody who keeps constantly going out, partying, etc. He probably will know some girl somewhere that does OnlyFans. It's a pretty common thing nowadays. So the chances of them knowing somebody who is doing OnlyFans is pretty high, right? So you reach out to one of your boys who knows a girl already, right? And you pay him perhaps a referral fee to connect the model with you, etc. Boom. Really simple. In our coaching program, we have over 1,000 people in the program, and it takes them on average 3 weeks on average to get their first client. It is super simple. That is honestly one of the easiest parts to getting started, right? Next then, so you've started your agency, you've done the branding, you maybe have a website, you maybe have Instagram at this point, etc., right? You're doing the outreach, and boom, you actually are speaking to a model, and this model is interested in jumping on a call with you. So the next steps then, so this one isn't technically mandatory, right? But I would recommend you setting up a Calendly. So this is one of the first softwares, as I mentioned over here. So as you can see, softwares and tools. So this is one of the first softwares that you're going to want to set up. It's super simple. It's basically like a personal assistant, but online, like a software. And it basically helps you schedule in calls. It gives them reminders, etc. The biggest key, the 2 big things here with Calendly is emails and text messages. So these are email reminders and text message reminders automatically set up by Calendly. It is super simple. You literally just have to tick yes, like on. I think it's like $15 a month or something. And then Calendly will send your potential clients reminders for the meeting. And it will do it in real time. So it will say like, oh, you have 1 hour until the meeting starts. You have 30 minutes until the meeting starts, and so on. This increases your show up rate massively. And if your models actually show up on a call, then the chance of you signing them is much higher, right? The chances of you actually signing a client when you're able to speak to them is much higher than them just ghosting you or not signing up. Pretty obvious stuff, right? So Calendly is definitely one that I'd recommend you guys setting up. The next software, however, and this one you actually want to set up with Calendly, right? So this one, I'm sure most of you guys will know of, pretty simple, is Zoom, right? So you want to make sure you have Zoom set up. Make sure you actually pay. This is the biggest mistake that I see with beginners. Please make sure you just pay for Zoom. It's like $20 or whatever, but it's super important because if you don't pay for it, you can only do a call for 40 minutes. And it's the most unprofessional thing where it says like 1 minute left of the meeting because you've been speaking for 39 minutes. And the model now has to jump off of this Zoom call because it's literally ending and you have to send them a new link. It's super unprofessional. Nobody who's a professional doesn't have Zoom like paid for, right? 100% pay for it. It's like $20, but it's going to be your best investment. Trust me, it's super important because these calls can go from anywhere from 30 minutes, well, actually even as low as 10 minutes, all the way to 60 minutes. They don't have to be a 60-minute call, you know, I'll be honest, like it doesn't have to take a whole hour to sign up a model, but I'm just saying it can do, you know? So again, that's why I recommend paying for Zoom. But on the Zoom call itself, you know, there's a couple of things that you want to obviously go over and explain. So on the Zoom call, number one, introduce yourself, right? So who are you? What is it that you do? What can you offer for them? And why would you want to work with them, or why should they work with you? The second thing, so if you're just starting out and you have no clients whatsoever, to be talking about what you're going to be doing for them might be a little bit difficult for you, right? So I get it, because how are you going to explain to somebody what you're going to do for them when you've never done it before? And also, how can you manage your expectations when, again, you don't even know yourself? Again, that's the point of our coaching program. We tell you exactly what to expect so you can tell the model and you know it and you're prepared, right? So every call that you show up, the chances of you signing that client is, dramatically higher than if you're going to do it all by yourself, okay? But anyway, you're going to introduce yourself, you're going to explain your services. Before here, you're going to break the ice. Actually, after you introduce yourself, you want to break the ice. When I say break the ice, just make them laugh a little bit. It's not really that important of a call. When I say important, it's an important call. I mean, in terms of a tense, it's not that tense of a call, right? It's just you're talking to another model who's doing OnlyFans, and you're probably similar age anyway. But at the end of the day, you still want them to ease in a little bit. They don't want to be have their wall up, quote unquote. So make a little joke, whatever, compliment them, whatever it is. Keep it professional, obviously, right? And then essentially you're going to explain your services, what it is that you do, what you offer, etc. You then oh wow, this handwriting. By the way, I don't actually type like this, or write like this. It's just, this is fairly difficult, but I don't know, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, find out about them. That's what it says. So very, very important. So your job on a call is to find out where they are right now, what's going good, what's going bad, and where do they want to get to, right? And your job is to bridge that gap, right? Super simple. This is the biggest key. This is literally it. This is sales 101, right? Let me actually do this. Sales 101, right? So how sales work is really, really simple. Let me actually put this down. So let's just say this is the beginning of the call and this is the end of the call, right? So here is the intro, then here is the ice. Then super, super important, the most important part is understanding what is their current point. So where are they at right now with their business or, their account? Where are they at right now? What is their goal? And then figure out what is stopping them, right? So where are they at right now? What is their goal? And then what's stopping them from getting there? And you are the answer. You are the solution to this right here. What's stopping them? Whatever it is stopping them, you can help them. So for example, they don't have enough time to do everything and, do it all by themselves. Maybe perhaps they don't know what they're doing when it comes to marketing. Maybe they don't have the time to reply to all the messages, etc. That's where you come in and that's where you solve their problem. Really simple, right? So by this point, you've set it all up. You've done the outreach. You've set up Calendly. You've got them on a Zoom call or even a WhatsApp call, and you've explained your services and you explain that you take 50% and you're able to help them scale, and yeah, you take 50%, right? Pretty simple. The next one, once they've agreed and you've answered all of their questions, is a contract. Now, if you don't have a contract, I highly recommend you getting one. You must have a contract when you're working in this industry. At the end of the day, it is the adult industry and you want to make sure that you're safe as well as the model. So you want to make sure that everything is on a legally binding contract that states that you are allowed to sell explicit content of the creator, and she gives you full permission and she obviously allows it, okay? Now the contract, again, within our coaching program, we literally give you the exact contract we use ourselves, so you're able to duplicate it and use it for your own agency. It's going to save you so much time and money from having to go to a real lawyer trying to figure it all out, okay? But once you've sent them an online contract and they've signed it, and again, if there's any amendments or if they have any questions, you answer them, or if there's any amendments, you change them. At that point, well done, you have a client, right? It is honestly that simple. The difference between this and something like SMMA that I used to do before is you got to remember that you're not dealing with 40-year-old middle-aged men who have been in business for longer than you've been alive. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say here is they're not going to be as harsh on you, on these calls. They're a lot more happier to work with you. They also understand how social media and how marketing works nowadays. Whereas when I used to work with lawyers in social media marketing, they were like, why should I pay you to run my Facebook ads? And I'm like, that's the whole point. That's where I'm going to help you get clients, but they wouldn't understand it, right? With this, it's so much easier. You're dealing with people who are your similar age. They understand everything and they're happy to work with you. And also the supply and demand is heavily in your favor. So these models actually need your help, right? So anyway, let's move on to the next part. So the next part is WhatsApp, right? So we keep all of our communications on WhatsApp. You don't have to, but that's what we do. So we have a group chat with myself and all of our staff members. There's typically about 8 people, including the model, 8 to 9, on one group chat, and we have everything explained on there. Now I'm gonna leave this up to you because everybody does everything differently. But again, in our coaching program, we tell you exactly how we do it in the most streamlined, simple way possible, right? So anyway, you want to make sure you have a group chat with, again, if it's just you at the moment and you're starting out, then obviously it's just a DM between you and the model. But you make sure you keep it in one chat. So don't have it on Telegram and WhatsApp and Instagram. That's a nightmare because you might miss her message on one platform and then she gets annoyed, etc. So keep communications on one. Anyway, by this point, fantastic. You've got a client, and obviously at this point, the actual management begins, the actual work begins. And there's 2 main parts to ensuring that you're actually able to scale your models to hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, just like we have, right? And in this short little YouTube video, I think we've already been going for perhaps like 10, 15 minutes. Let me just share with you guys just the 2 main parts, right? So the first one obviously being, this is the chatting, right? So the chatting is the way the majority of your income should be coming in for your models and your clients. So with no chatting, I don't know how you're able to scale. So with chatting, there's a couple of things that we do. We play around with AI voice notes. So again, you want to try and the idea is to try and make it seem as the model is there as much as possible, right? So AI voice notes that make it sound like the actual girl is a massive key. Pro tip, I'll give you guys that. Chatting is super, super key. That's where majority of the money comes in. And once you're actually making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, which with this business model is pretty simple, then you're able to obviously hire people to do the chatting for you, and that just saves you so much time to then be able to focus on other clients, or maybe focus on this client with the second thing, which is super important on how to actually scale and make more money with OnlyFans. And that being is the marketing, right? So yeah, so marketing is obviously everything that entails to getting more subscribers, right? So this is social media, Instagram, Twitter, even Reddit, even dating apps, things of that nature. Again, in our coaching program, we teach you everything that you need to know about social media and everything that you need to know to bring in new subscribers. But just think outside the box, right? Do your own research, look at what's working for other people, what's working for other models, and you can implement it and you can adapt it ever so slightly for your creator. And I would recommend starting with one platform and master it, and then go on to the next one and so on. And again, once you're making enough money, you're able to reinvest it and pay for other people to do this for you. So you can pay for an agency to do your Twitter, you can pay for a different agency to do your Reddit, and so on and so on. That's what we do. So we get insane results. We're averaging 2 to 3 million impressions every day per client. It's nuts on Twitter. If you guys have any questions, shoot them at me at Marcus Hustle on Instagram. Check out the links down below, leave a like on the video and subscribe, and hopefully I'll get to see you on the next one.